there, this is Sally with It's All About the Packaging. Today's project, I'm going to show you how to make this little box. I went to the dollar store and I found this cool little candle. So I decided to make a box for the packaging of this, and it's really easy to do. What you want to do is just measure the candle, and since the candle is a little bit less than 3 inches all the way around, I decided that I can use a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I'm using the Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper. It's gorgeous. Every piece is gorgeous. I have a piece of regular white cardstock, and I need to glue this on the back of my box. So I'm taking this adhesive. It's made by Sizzix. It's a permanent adhesive, and all you do is take the film off of it like that, and this will stick on your paper face down, and I'm putting it on the inside of the box because that's where I want the white cardstock to be. I'm just gonna rub that on there really well, and then you just pull this off, and what it's done is it's laid down a film of an adhesive. You can also use glue if you want. I just find that this is better because it evenly distributes the glue, and since you're going to be cutting and scoring, it's easier to do it that way. And I have the pattern here as well. It's a basic box, and you can make them any size. The biggest thing is to measure your gift. I'm taking my paper cutter, and I need to do some scoring at 2 5/8. This is almost 3 inches, not quite. So when I score this, it's going to need to be a little less than 3 inches. So I'm doing 1/8 of an inch less than 3 inches when I'm scoring it, and I'm scoring it in all the just a little bit less than 3 all the way across. And when I'm done, what I should have is a little lip on the end. Okay, I've got it scored. Now I need to do some cutting. And I'm taking my paper snips, and I'm folding this. It's actually not quite half. Oh, let's do it this way. Like that. I use my bone folder. Give it a really nice crisp fold, and I'll do that on all the fold lines. And then you have this little lip. Forget about that. And then I have one more over here. I'm folding in. Okay, now all I need to do is cut some of these. I'm cutting this off up to the score, up to the crossroad up here. And I need to do that on all these flaps, all the way up here. And so the box goes together a little easier. I'm going to take some of the bulk off of it and just cut these corners. I'm just cutting them from the bottom up to the, and this is there's no, you don't have to measure this because you're not actually going to see it anyway. It's just taking a little bit of the bulk off of it. And I'm not doing this middle one, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Now I'm going to use tear tape, and the tear tape is a very strong adhesive. It works really well if you're doing boxes that you want to make sure that they stay together and don't come apart. You can also use the green glue, but when I do boxes, I prefer to do it this way. And this has a film on it. It should just come right off. That. The easiest thing is to just lay this down here, lay it on top. If you did it right, it should actually fold in half, which it does. Let's make sure that I got all my creases the way I want them. Okay, so here's my box. And since I have one flap that doesn't have the angle on it, that's the one that goes in last. So this is how it folds up. just like that. Okay, now I'm going to get another piece of tear tape, and I'm going to put it across the front, and that might be enough. Let me see if that's going to be enough. This box is pretty sturdy. It's not going to come apart. Okay, that works. Put my candle in there. It's perfect. Now all that we have left to do is the lid, and I have done exactly the same thing with the lid. I put the cardstock on the back, and now I need to score this, and this one's really easy to do. It's 1 inch on each side. So I score 1 inch, rotate it, score 1 inch, rotate it, and do that on all sides. So basically, I'm doing the same thing as the bottom of the box, but it's just going to be smaller. The lid is just going to be smaller. So I'm cutting this in on both sides again, and I'm going to angle it just like I did before. All right, let me score these, give them a nice crisp edge. And if you notice here, I'm using a different print. It's in the same pack, but it's a different print, and that offsets it a little bit. I think it's a little bit different than my sample. I'll bring the sample back in when I'm done so you can see both. And again, I'm going to do tear tape just on these tabs like this. And I'll pull these all off at the same time. Okay, now I'm folding the flaps in. And if you notice here, the reason that I give that, cut that off a little bit is so that it doesn't come above the box. It just gives it a nice clean look. Okay, there's my lid. Fits on there perfectly. Now, this is the best part of the project. What I have here is, this is another piece of paper. It's pink on the other side. But what I've done here is taken these, I took the flower, I cut out a flower, and I fussy cut the whole thing all the way around like this. And so you don't have to watch me, I've actually done it. And the pieces that I have here, I'm gonna build on top of each other. The first one gets put on the box just like that, and it gets glued on, or you can use dimensionals, whatever works. When you do a 3D project like this, you're gonna wanna use dimensionals. I love them, love them. Okay, so that's the bottom. Now the others, as I'm building them up, you see each one is a little bit smaller, and I am taking my bone folder and the petals, I'm just breaking the fibers in the paper so that the petals are up, and I'm doing that on all of them. And this designer series paper does not have the white on the back of it. I decided not to reinforce that. So each layer is going to get stacked on top of each other, and I'm using dimensionals for those too. So I'll do this one. I'll just do one dimensional in the middle. And it doesn't actually have to, this is exactly the same flower, but it doesn't actually have to line up exactly. It gives it more of a real flower look if you don't do that. And I keep putting on top. And this one is exactly like the other one, it just doesn't have the leaf. Oh, I need to take that off. Put it on there. Again, I'm not lining it up completely. And then I have one more in the middle. And if it's easier for you to do this without it being on the box, that's fine too. I just want to show you how easy this is to do. And then all I'm doing is I'm working with the petals and bringing them up like that. Very, very cool. And then I have one more piece here, and this is the one that I'm going to use glue. I'm not using a dimensional. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of it because it just sticks right there in the back like that. Okay, one more finishing touch. We have these little, they're called clear epoxy shapes, and they're my absolute favorite. they have little drops. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me put this behind it. Maybe that's gonna help. I don't know, but it looks like little raindrops, and I'm using my take your pick tool and just trying to take these off of here if I can see it. They're so tiny and they're clear, but it really adds effect to your project. And it's probably hard to pick it up on the camera, but it really does look like it's wet, and it looks like it has dewdrops on it. So this sheet has the dewdrops, and it also has little round shapes as well. Okay, if you want to add a little bit more to it, I love this. This is one of my favorite. It is actually, all it is it just puts a little bit of shine all over your paper. Wherever you put it, it puts a little bit of shine. It's called Wink of Stella, and it's clear. All it is just a clear pen with some shiny glitter type of liquid in it. And it would maybe be easier for you to do it before you actually assemble the flower, but this works well. Okay, so there's my project, and the other one that I have is a little bit different. It has a little bit of the different paper on it. Let me just show it to you like this. Actually, the bottom is the same, the top is different. And every time you do this type of thing, your flowers aren't always going to be the same, and that's the beauty of it. So I hope you enjoyed my project. Everything that I used today is in the description below, and the measurements are there as well. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more packaging ideas. This is Sallie Stamper. Go make someone's day, and you will change the world.